If your house was about to burn down, what would you try to save first? Kids, I guess. Yeah, I guess they come before the TV. Wholesome, the TV doesn't walk though, it's helpless. Kids can save themselves. Kids can save the TV. I know the house is on fire, but grab the TV, kids. But Dad, it's too heavy. Go to your rooms. But, no buts, to your rooms now. Dad, our rooms have burned down. Depends on the TV, is it OLED? Man of culture. Retired firefighter here. When I was a kid, our house burned down. As time went on, it was the family photos we missed the most. I always grabbed photo albums when I saw them. The owners often cried when they realized the photos were saved. I came to the realization that this could happen a few years ago. Got a scan snap, spent a whole lot of hours scanning every photo we had. Now we have physical and digital copies. So now my concern would be family members and pets. Everything else is replaceable. Edit, since so many of you have completely misconstrued my comment. Family members and pets have always been my top priority, but now nothing else needs to be a concern. This is why Google Photos or Amazon Photos is invaluable. Any picture you snap on your phone get automatically uploaded, so they're always backed up. Yep. Every photo I take on my phone is Google Photos and iCloud automatically. And when I upload from my mirrorless camera to iPad, it's backed up the same exact way. Then finally everything is put on desktop, which is backed up with an external drive. If all four methods failed, then it's just not in the cards for me to have those pictures/files. So now my concern would be family members and pets. I like that this implies if you didn't have the digital copies, your priority would be photos over family members and pets. My FIL house burned down last year in August. A lot was lost. FIL lived in second floor, and only saves his sock drawer thinking it was document drawer. It was dark. On the first floor lived my SIL with her family. Her husband, a tall and thin man working an office job, and not once working out, picked up this huge box made of oak with all their photo albums. When the box was bought, 3 men carried it in the house while it was empty. He did it alone and filled with all their family photos in many generations. In all the tragedy, I hope they can find humor in saving a sock drawer. Thank you for all that you've done as a firefighter. What you did for those people is so amazing. They probably didn't realize at the time how much they would actually miss those pictures. When I was 5, our house also burned down. To this day, parents don't mention anything other than family pics that they wish were saved. My book of passwords. Elmow, I'd be so fucked without it. This is why I have all my passwords in an electronic notepad. What if you forget the password to the notepad? Check my second electronic notepad of passwords. Everyone should have some kind of firebox or fire safe with their important documents in it, like their SS card, passport, car and house deeds/titles, etc. Since all of my important documents, including my passwords, are all kept digitally now, it's super easy to keep a USB stick with a backup of everything. Put a copy in your firebox or leave a copy with a family member or in your office. You never know, but yes, losing your password database would be a massive PITA to deal with, along with all your other digital files these days. Personally, would never store my password in any kind of online tools. That's a whole other disaster waiting to happen. I would grab a cat in each hand and scream at my husband to pick up the hamster cage. The image of a person holding 2 cats and screaming, "Get the hamster cage," with fire behind them is kind of hilarious. My family self-evacuated from a wildfire when I was a kid. All in all, we had 2 adults, 4 kids, 1 dog, 1 bird, and 1 chick. My sister ran back inside to get the chicken, but my parents were blocking the doors. I think my dad ran back in and got it for her. I freaked out about our outdoor cat, but she went missing a few days before. My mom told me she was fine. Several days later, we came back home. Everything was fine and intact. Several days after that, my cat came back home. She died of old age over 10 years later. I personally have never had that experience, and I hope I don't. I'm sorry that it happened to you. I'm glad that you got to have your cat in your life many years later after something like that. My condolences for any pets or family lost because of that. I'm in the military. I'm also a little paranoid. I've got guns in my closet, an asp between my bed and box spring mattress, and a knife on my bedside table. Mid-August, I awoke with a fright as I heard voices in my house. I sleep naked, but I was ready to fight off my intruders naked if required. Unfortunately, due to sleep inertia, instead of any one of my various weapons I keep by my bed, I jump into action, fist clutching my blanket. I was so eager for a fight that I left the relative safety of my room, ass naked, armed with a blanket, determined to kill whoever had dared enter my home. Then two things hit me simultaneously. After I killed the intruder, I need to speak to the police, which means I need pants at the minimum. There was no intruder. My fire alarm was screaming warning. Carbon monoxide detected. Warning, which means I was about to have a whole bunch of firefighters show up, and I needed pants now more than ever. In this order: cats, animals, not the Blu-ray of the movie. Authentic Earthbound SNES card. Grandma, suck it grandma, she had a good run. My Boss reel-to-reel tape player, vinyl collection, Pioneer turntable and analog receiver. Probably the speakers if there was time. The baby. The Grateful Dead memorabilia, the Quicksilver Messenger service poster, the Macarene bead curtain, beanbag chair. I'm glad I'm not your baby. A baby is definitely easier to replace than the first 4 items they listed, I guess. This list isn't in order, right? My mom's house burned down about 8 years ago, not long after I moved back in my early 20s. I was the only one home, but I kind of figured out a fire was about to erupt because smoke was pouring from the upstairs outlets and light switches, lol. My mom had just updated the bathroom fixtures, combining modern wiring with old knob and tube wiring. It didn't go well. First thing I saved were the pets. We had 3 cats and a dog at the time. I could only find 2 of the cats, and the dog, put them outside as I called the fire department. The flames hadn't started yet. By the time I went back to look for the 3rd cat and gather some valuables, laptops, photo albums, irreplaceable items, into a backpack, my mom's entire bedroom doorway was a big ball of flames. Her house was built in like 1890-something, so the wood wasn't treated. It went quick. Thankfully, the fire department was like 2 blocks away, and they arrived quickly. The firefighters also couldn't find the 3rd cat, but this story has a happy ending. My parents had a water bed back in the day, and after it inevitably popped, they kept the frame and plopped a normal mattress on it. The frame had drawers and storage built in, and there was a small crack between the wall it was against, just big enough for a cat to get in. He was in there, and it saved his life. They said if he was hiding anywhere else, like just under a chair or a normal bed, he would have died of smoke inhalation, but the water bed frame protected him well because it was so enclosed. He's living out his golden years with my mom in her nicely updated house thanks to the insurance money, so it all turned out well.